All right, guys. Okay, we're recording. It's long. Just telling you, warning you. Okay. Okay, we're going to deal with square roots today. Okay. The square root of 40. If I put the square root of 40 in my calculator, would I get a decimal or would I get a nice number? To me, a nice number is something like 1, 2, 3, 4. Tell me, decimal or nice number? Decimal. Okay. And I love that you're answering me, because the more engaged you are, the more you're paying attention, the better this is going to go. Okay, so thank you. Okay, I'm going to get a decimal. If you don't know that, grab your calculator. I'm going to show you how to put it in these calculators. Okay, so guys, don't push anything, but do you see this x squared button right here? And do you see on the face of the calculator that there's the square root? So that's a light blue. So to access it, you hit second, and then you hit your x squared, and then you put in your 40 and hit enter, and now you realize it doesn't work out. It's not a nice number, right? Okay, so everybody write down your 40, and we're going to break it down. Now I'm going to tell you how I always do it. If 2 goes into that number, I always do 2. And I put it on the left, 2 times 20. 2 is done. Now I'm going to do the 20. So 20 is 2 times 10. 2 is done. Now I'm going to do the 10. 2 times 5. Okay, so this is the square root of 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. Now, did I really have to take that step and write those inside of there? I really didn't, and we'll talk about that in a second. But guys, this is a square root. So all those numbers in there, they want out. It's like they're in jail. They want out. But the only way they can come out is if there's 2. So these two 2's come out as a single 2. And this poor 2 and that poor 5, they're stuck inside. What do I do to the 2 and the 5? You multiply them, so the answer is 2 squared of 10. Okay? So you didn't have to write it like that. You could just go like this, guys. Look, those two 2's come out as a single 2. Those guys stay there. Good. Okay. Square root of 169. Do you know on the top of your head what the square root of 169 is? It is 13. 13 times 13 is 169. Okay? And literally, you're done. Okay? 54. You guys tell me, is 54 going to be nice or is it going to be a decimal? It's going to be a decimal. Okay, so take your 54 and let's break it down. You don't always have to go by 2. I always go by 2 just because I like to be really organized and tidy. Okay, so 54 is 2 times 27. Now the 2 is done and 2 doesn't go into 27. So I'm going to try the next number, which is 3. And 3 times 9 is 27. So it works. And then the 3 is done, but the 9 is not. And so it's 3 times 3. Okay, now I'm going to do something really crazy right here. Okay, and you're going to go, why are we doing this? I want you to draw like a really long, crazy square root. And we're going to write a ton of things in there. So you're going to write really small. Okay, so inside you have 2 times 3 times 3 times 3. X to the third is x times x times x. Then you have a y. And then you have 12 z's. I know it's silly, but I want you to write them all out. I would never do this, and I would never expect you to do this. I'm just trying to display to you what we're doing, okay? You guys look, this is a square root, so I have to have 2, okay? This 2 does not come out. But these 2 3's right here are going to come out, and they're going to come out as a single 3. These 2 x's are going to come out right there, and they're going to come out as a single x. And then look what happens. These 2 z's come out as a single. These 2 z's come out as a single. These 2 do. These 2 do. These 2, and these 2. So every single z got to come out. These guys are 1. 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 How many? 6. So I write that out here as a z to the, talk to me, 6th. So my answer is 3x z to the 6th times the square root of 2. Oh, no, not 2. What's it supposed to be in there, everybody? 2 times 3 is 6. Yep, x and a y, and the z's all went away, and that's my answer. That's all I do. Okay? Now, of course, we don't have to do all that. Okay? So watch how we're going to do this. You can just kind of kick back and watch, okay? This is a square root. So I'm going to break this down. These 2 3's come out as a single 3. Inside, I still have 2 times 3, which is a 6. I left some room for my variables, okay? Now look what I do. 2 goes into 3 one time. Does 2 go into 3 exactly, or do we have remainders? How many remainders? 1. They'll stay inside. I don't even have enough z's to pull them out, so that's going to be there. And then 2 goes into 12 6 times, so it looks like that. Now look at how I've written that. It's not great. Do you see how my z to the 6th, the 6th looks like a 6th root? Can you see how I did that? So I have to be really careful, and I have to pull that 6 right by it and then go like that, so it's very clear what I'm trying to say. Who says I understand? I'm with you. Okay, great. Negative, okay, so is the answer to this like no real solution, or does the answer have an I in it? Somebody tell me that. No. It does not have an I. Why doesn't it have an I? Because it's an odd. Yeah, so here's something, I don't know if your other teachers have taught you this, but if that's an odd, this little number right here, if it's an odd, and if that's a negative, you can actually just pull the negative right out. And that's actually like the first thing I want you to do. Just pull it out. Okay? Now, let's break it down. So 12 is 2 times 6, and 6 is 2 times 3. And I have to have 3 of the same thing to pull them out. And I don't have any number. I don't have 3 of anything. So that on the numbers. So that's just going to be a 12. And then on the A's, 3 goes into 3 exactly one time, no leftovers inside. And then on the B's, 3 goes into 11 3 times. Do I have leftovers? How many remainders in there? How many B's left? 2 more B's. Good. That's my answer, and I'm done. That's it. Okay, who says this is easy? Let me see. Great. Okay, so here we go. That's okay, whoever that is. Just kind of shut that down a little bit. Okay, right up above here, I want everybody to go the square root of 2 plus the square root of 3. Then I'm going to ask you, can I add those together, yes or no? No. When you see that, this is what I want your brain to see. Write this down for me. X plus Y. They're different. I cannot add X and Y together, just like I can't add those two things together. Okay, everybody look at question A. I have 3 terms. If you can't see 3 terms, we have a problem. Look, term, term, term. 3 terms. This guy has a square root of 3. This guy has a square root of 3. When I add them, it's going to have a square root of 3. 2 plus 4 is 6. Then I write down the guy that did not get added, 2 square root of 2. There's my answer, and I'm done. Okay, right up above that problem, write this down for me. Okay, write this down. Everybody go 2x plus 4. What do you think I want you to write right here? It is an x minus 2, tell me, like a y. You guys are so awesome. So yeah, the first 2 are the same. They both have x's. The other guy's different. It's like a y. This problem we're doing here is really no different than that. And everybody can do that one I just circled, right? Okay, here's question B. Everybody in the room shout this out. You are participating so much more than my other class did, so thank you. And I think it's just going to help this go so much smoother. How many terms do I have, everybody? 3. Okay, so look. Here, here, here. This guy has a square root of 5. This guy has a square root of 5. I add them together, it's going to have a square root of 5. Then I have a negative 1 and a positive 3. That's a positive 2. Those are done. The guy that did not get to add to anything, write him down. There's my answer, and I'm done. What if I wrote it like this?
It's wrong.
So wrong?
No, it's right.
I wondered if you were joking. Is 2 plus 3 the same as 3 plus 2? Were you joking? Now you're joking.
No, yeah, no.
Yeah, no, yeah.
We're good.
You are good. We're good. Is 2 plus 3 the same as 3 plus 2? Yeah. Yes. Is negative 2 plus 3 the same as 3 minus 2? Are those the same? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. The 2's a negative, the 3's a positive. You can switch the order. It doesn't matter. That's exactly what we did right there. Okay? All right. That was B. Here is C. Can I add those? First of all, how many terms do I have? Tell me that. 2. Can I add these together? No. Someone last period said, not yet. Not yet. Not yet. We don't know. Not yet is not the right answer. Not yet implies that you're going to be able to. But we don't know. Because what are we going to do? We're going to talk to me, guys. We're going to simplify this guy. We're going to simplify this guy. And if they just so happen to be the same roots, then we're going to add them together. Okay? Everybody write down the 28. That's 2 times 14. 14 is 2 times 7. These two 2's come out as a single 2. So I have 2 squared is 7. Now I'm going to do the 63. 63 is 3 times 21. 21 is 3 times 7. So these two 3's come out as a single 3. And inside I have a 7. Can I add them together? Yes. I'm not really adding, I'm subtracting, but adding and subtracting kind of go together. Because I have a 2 and a negative 3, that's a negative 1. There's my answer, and I'm done. Who says this is easy? Let me see. Okay, great. It's going to get tougher, just so you know. I think at the end, people were like, ugh, it gets a little heavy, just so you know. Okay, square root of 121. Everybody talk to me about that. It's an 11. 11 times 11 is 121. You're exactly right. Take out the 30, or take your 32 and break it down. So 32 is 2 times 16. 16 is 2 times 8. 8 is 2 times 4. 4 is 2 times 2. These two 2's come out as a single 2. These two 2's come out as a single 2. So I have 2, 2, and 4. What do I do to those numbers? Multiply those, and I get a 16. And inside, I still have a, talk to me, 2. This is so easy. Who says, yes, this is so easy? Okay, yay. Okay, E. If I start going too fast, I never know unless you tell me you're going too fast. But you can say it nicely. You just raise your hand. Can you please slow down? Okay? Everybody in the room, if you can't answer this question, it's a problem. It's a big conceptual problem. How many terms do I have? You have 2 terms, right? That's an easy one to answer. This guy and this guy, okay? So I'm going to simplify him, and then just look if they add, okay? Can I pull out anything numerically from the inside? No. So I'm going to have a 3, I'm going to leave some room, and I'm going to have my 2. This is a square root. So 2 goes into 4 exactly 2 times, no leftovers. Then the y's, 2 goes into 3 1 time, and I have, do I have leftovers? How many? 1 more, okay? And then this right here, so numerically it's just going to be a negative 6. Now let's look at the x's. These 2 x's come out as a single x, so x times x is x squared. And I don't have enough y's to pull those out, so it's going to be y times the square root of y. Now, to kind of keep things moving today, I'm going to pair you guys up, and occasionally I'm going to go talk to your partner and figure it out. So you guys are partners, you guys are partners, you guys are partners. Partners, partners, you 2 guys right here are partners, and we're going to go, just to be quick, we're going to go partners, and we're going to go partners, and you guys are a group of 3, okay? Everybody right now, 15 seconds is all I'm giving you. Talk to your partner quietly because you don't want the other people to hear. Can I add those 2 things together, okay? Talk about it. And you can't just say yes or no. You have to say why. Why yes, why no.
An X and an X.
Okay.
One X is a blue X and one X is a red X. So you can't have it.
Charles, what's the answer? Everybody listen. Charles is going to tell us. What's the answer, bud?
No.
Why not? Tell us. Explain it.
Different.
Say what? You got to say it in a very clear way. You are now the teacher, Charles. What's up? Why not?
Have different square.
They have different square roots. Well, this is a square root, and this is a square root, so they're not different.
I'm talking about what's inside.
Talking about what's inside. Yes. Wonderful. Look, 2 x's, 2 x's. We're good. Y, we're good. Square root, we're good. 2y, it's not happening. They're not identical. All those things I highlighted have to be perfectly. We're so glad you're here.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here.
We were like, where is she? She's so nice. It's not the same without you. So you cannot add those together, and that's your answer. Okay? Who says got that? Okay. Okay, let's do the next one. You do the next one all by yourself. Okay? I'm going to give you about a minute. Okay? Yes.
Is it not like this one where the line
Say it again, Sue.
I'm confused why it's
Because what I have with that is I have the square root of x times y. So those two can come out as a single.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Turn to your partner and compare answers. If they're not the same, figure out who's wrong. If you have no idea what you're doing, then your partner has to teach you how to do it. Okay? Compare. If somebody doesn't have it written, help them.
Now, why is it x and not 4?
Denise, your team is Charles and Caleb. Okay?
But this gets you.
Rather, when you're adding them together, the exponents.
Yeah, there's one B.
It's not the exponents you're adding these things. So there's 2x. There's 2x to the power squared. So it's not x to the power 4. There's 2 of the x's that are to the power 4.
Okay, I'm going to do it. I love that. I love that. Now there have more, I have groups comparing with each other. That's perfect. If we had time, I would totally do that. Okay, 12 is 2 times 6. 6 is 2 times 3. These two 2's come out like that. Okay, so I have a negative 2, and inside I have a 3. Do you see how I'm just doing the numbers right now, right? Now I'm going to go to the x's. So 2 goes into 4 exactly twice. And I don't have enough y's to pull anything out. So it's going to be y and y. Who says I did that one right? I got that term right. Okay. If not, then fix your notes, okay? Okay, 27. 27 is 3 times 9. 9 is 3 times 3. These two 3's come out as a single like that. Okay, so numerically, I have a 3 on the outside and a 3 on the inside. The only x's are on the outside. There's nothing I can do. And then 2 goes into 3 one time, and that leaves me one guy inside. Who says I did that right? Okay, if you didn't do it right, then fix it. Now the question is, can I add these? What's the answer?
No.
Look, x to second y, x to second y. Square root of 3y, square root of 3y. Everything's fine.
Oh, okay, so
They match.
okay.
So it's going to be x to the second y, square root of 3y. A negative 2 and a positive 3 is a positive 1. That's my answer. That's it. Okay?
I'm so confused. When can you add them and when can't you add them?
If you, so like if you have the square root of 2 plus the square root of 3, you cannot add those.
So why
Okay?
can't it? Okay, now I just answered.
You okay?
Yeah.
Are you good? Okay, that's good. I didn't even have to say anything. Everybody good? Okay, let's keep going. I want you to remember that this lesson is a times 3. It's important, okay? Question G. Can I add those together? Can I do that? I don't know. There's a possibility, right? Okay, so I would say they can possibly be, and I would say, added together. Now, they didn't tell me to add them together. They didn't ask me to, like, you know, I really should probably do it, but I'm just going to say maybe. What would be required to do so? Everybody tell me, what is it? A lot of work, and what would have to happen when we finally figure out? The roots have to be the same, right? So I'm going to say the number inside of the 6th root must be identical in order for those to be added together. I'm not going to take the time to do it. Those numbers are terrible. You get the idea, right? Okay, let's talk about multiplying. Everybody go the square root of 2 multiplied by the square root of 3. Can I multiply those together? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So it would just be the square root of 6. That's it. What if you had this? 2 times the square root of 3 multiplied by 4 times the square root of 2. Well, it's easy. You just keep the things on the outside, keep the things on the inside. So you just go 4 times 2 is 8. On the inside, 3 times 2 is a 6. That would be it. That's all I have to do. Okay, let's do question A. They don't have to be the same to multiply. They do. What if, let me say one thing really fast. I didn't even say this last period. What if that's a cube root and that's a square root? Can I multiply those? No. So they have to be the same kind of root, right? Outside, 5 times 2 is 10. Inside, 3 times 2 is 6. I'm done. That's my answer. Yay. Question B. One word that tells me how to do this. What's the word? Distribute. Yay. Look right here. 3 squared root of 10 times 2 squared root of 5. Outside, 3 times 2 is 6. Inside, 10 times 5 is 50. Now go 3 squared root of 10 times a negative 3 squared root of 2. Outside, 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. Square root of 10 times 2 is 20. Am I done? No, I've just started, right? What do I do now? Simplify, right? So 50 is 2 times 25. 25 is 5 times 5. So these two 5s come out and join the 6. What do I have out there now? Do I have an 11? No, you multiply. 30, square root of, talk to me, 2. Now break down your 20, 2 times 10 and 2 times 5. 2 2's come out as a single. So I have minus 18 square root of, tell me, 5. Can I add those? Is it a problem that I can't add those? No, you didn't have to add them. You only have to add them if they end up being the same, which they didn't, so big deal. Okay, question C. When we come across the problem that we highlighted, that we said was on the midterm, will you tell me? I remember one of them, but we already did one?
We just did one. We just did it.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Oh, you can do that. That's a good, right? That's a good thing. There is one that's kind of not so much a good thing. We went through and highlighted all over in our workbooks the things that are going to be on the midterm. So make sure you talk to me or somebody else because that's super important information. Okay, question C. Outside, 5 times 2 is 10. Now I want everyone to listen. The sooner you can get this in Snap, the happier your life is going to be in here. Okay? What is the square root of 6 times the square root of 6? It's the square root of 36. And what's the square root of 36? 6. So listen to this. The square root of 6 times the square root of 6 is 6. Okay? Freeze for 2 seconds. We'll finish that in a second. What is the square root of 10 times the square root of 10? 10. Everybody say this with me. What's the square root of 14 times the square root of 14? 14. Square root of 17 times the square root of 17? 17. Right? Remember that, okay? And then 10 times 6 is 60. That's your answer, and you're done. That's it. Okay? All right. Question D. Okay, starting to get a little ugly. Okay? Up above that, I want you to write this. 10 minus x in parentheses And then right next to it, 10 plus, tell me that. 10 plus x. So you're seeing it correctly because you're answering when I ask you, okay? If that were your problem, 10 plus x times 10 minus x, everybody in the room tell me how to do that. Okay, so FOIL, but is it really FOIL? It's not. You don't have to FOIL. Why don't you have to FOIL? Why don't you have to FOIL? Because, well, they're kind of x's. Why don't you have to FOIL? They cancel out. So you don't have to FOIL. What do you have to do? F and L. Remember, we talked about this. So cross out the O and the I. And all we're going to do is just F and L. So what's that word? Stop for 2 seconds. What's that word that describes the relationship between those two things? Do you remember? It's conjugate. See, I knew we were so happy you were here, smart girl. It's conjugate. 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 I think that's how you spell. Okay, F and L. 10 times 10 is 100. L. Negative times a positive is a negative. Should I change my 4th root to like an 8th root or a 16th root or something like that? No, it stays the same. And then 4 times 4 is 16. Okay. Now, I might not be done because of that 4th root of 16, right? So let's take the 16 and break it down. So 16 is 2 times 8. 8 is 2 times 4, and 4 is 2 times 2. What is the 4th root of 16 equal to? 4th root of 16, you have to have 4 of them to come out. It's a 4th root. So those come out as 1. So it's 100 minus 2, which is 98. That's your answer. Okay, grab your calculator for me. I want to show you how to put the 4th root of 16 in your calculator. Okay, here's how you do it. Clear your calculator out. Everybody put in a 4 for the 4th root. Then you're going to hit second. Then you're going to go down 4 buttons right here to that caret button. And then you're going to put in your 16, hit enter. There's your answer. Okay? Okay, question E. You guys, if I can get you to see it right, I can get you to do it right. So up above this, I want you to write, you tell me what to write. How do I want you to see it? 5 minus x squared. Wonderful. If it was 5 minus x squared, what would your first step be? Write it twice. You guys are so awesome. 5 minus the square root of 2 times 5 minus the square root of 2. What do you do now? Is it just F and L, or is it a full FOIL? It's a full FOIL. Why a full FOIL? The middle signs are not opposite. Yes, bless you. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times a negative square root of 2 is a negative 5 square root of 2. Inside, negative square root of 2 times 5, negative 5 square root of 2. Last, negative square root of 2 times a negative square root of 2. Now you should know this answer. Look, negative times a negative is a positive. What's the square root of 2 times the square root of 2? 2. Man, you guys are awesome. It's going so much better, so much faster. Our pace is good. It's good. 25 plus 2 is 27. Square root of 2, square root of 2. They're going to have a square root of 2. What's the number that goes in front? It's a negative 10. Yeah, and that's your answer. 25 right here at the end, and then 2 at the end. 25 and 2. Okay? Okay, question F is one that we highlighted. And it does not look very inviting, right? Say it again. It was a times 2. Okay, now I will tell you that this one's a little tougher because I just went through and did this highlighting stuff. Don't do this on your paper, but the problem looked like that. So it didn't have that last stuff. One of them at least looked like that. But it's still kind of looking tough, right? Okay, let's take it nice and slowly. This is a big one, okay? This times this. So you're going to have a cube root of, I'm going to grab my calculator and I'm going to go 75 times 5 and I get 375.
Big boy.
And then I have 1x and 1y. And now I'm going to go cube root of 5x times a negative cube root of 2xy. So it's going to be a positive times a negative is a negative. They're both cube roots. 5 times 2 is 10. And then x to the, talk to me, second, because I have 1 and 1. And remember, you add. And then I've got that y. What do I do with this last guy? Just write it down, right? Am I done? What do I do now? Simplify, 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 and then what? See if they add. Yeah. Okay, 375. Well, I know it's going to break down to 5 and 75 because I just did that right up above, right? Then if I go 75 divided by 5, that's 15. So that's 5 times 15. And I can still go. 15 is 5 times 3. So these 3 5s, I have to have 3 of them, come out as a single 5. And then it's going to be a cube root, and I've got a 3. Now look on the inside, I have to have 3 x's or 3 y's for anything to come out, and I don't have anything, so I'm just going to write those down. Okay, look at the middle term. I have to have 3 for anything to come out. 10 is 2 times 5, nothing. Not enough x's, not enough y's, nothing's happening. So I'm just going to write that down. The last guy, can't do anything to him either. Now I want you to look at those 3 terms, term by term, and tell me if I can add them. Can I add any of them together? No. I'm done. That's it. So it looked really bad, but I don't really think it was that bad. Do you guys? No, not bad. And it was there, so just keep an eye. Okay. Shall we take a little break? Okay, let's do it. Everybody stand up. Okay, stand up. I want you to move away from your desk, like all the way out of the aisle. Move and walk. Everybody move, please. Move, move, move. Huh? Yes. Yes, do a speed walk, and that will make you feel like you got your wiggles out. Okay, who's in yoga? Who's in yoga? Okay, give us a move. But it can't be like downward dog, because there might be girls in skirts or something. Okay, give us a move. What's a good yoga move? Say it again. Okay, do one.
Oh.
But is that you have to really get like down?
Yeah.
That's okay, get down.
Just on your knees.
If you want to get down, then get down.
I'll
Okay?
get down.
Here's child's pose. Okay, show us. Oh yeah, you lay down. Okay, everybody do that. Come on. Everybody lay down. I'm gonna do it.
Oh, my ankles are flexible.
It really does.
It's kind of gross because I bet this ground is like really dirty.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a germaphobe. Yeah. Okay, let's stand back up. Yes. Okay, everybody go like this. All the way to the ceiling. High as you can. Okay, touch your toes. Then go like this. Arms out to the side. And now everybody strike one more stretch. Whatever stretch you want. Come on. Oh, that's good. Come on, another stretch. Okay. Okay, take a seat. I hope you feel better. It helps to move. I think I'm going to give my students a theme song before every test, and I'm going to make you guys listen to it. And I even think I'm going to make you close your eyes and dance for 30 seconds with nobody watching you, because if everybody's eyes are closed. And it's going to be Bob Marley. Who doesn't like Bob Marley, right? I don't know the name, but everything's going to be all right. Little things are gonna be all right. Yeah, and we're going to dance, just so you know, before every test. Yeah. Okay. Highlight the word rationalize and draw an arrow to it. Okay, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to write down with your pencil, because you might have to erase it, what you think that means. What does that mean? Rationalize. Just write that down. If you don't know, does it matter? Is it a big deal?
We're about to
No,
learn.
we're going to do it. So it's fine. Plus, this is just the lesson. So who cares? Who thinks they know what it is? Everybody forgot. That's okay. Thanks.
To like make it realistic and understandable.
Okay, so that's so funny because somebody last period said the same thing. They were like if you're rational, then you're like calm and it's easy to understand. That's so funny because someone said that last period and I was like, I never thought about that. And it kind of is like what they're doing is they're having you rewrite it in a way that's more understandable. So that's good. So here's what it is. It's to get rid of, does anybody know now? The square root on the, talk to me, on the bottom. Yep. Okay, look at question 4a. The problem is you have a square root of 2 on the bottom. So I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom. Always you multiply by the same thing, which in this problem is the square root of 2. And then on the top, the square root of 3 times the square root of 2 is the square root of 6. Everybody in the room, what's the square root of 2 times the square root of 2? 2. You guys are awesome. Can I reduce the 2 and the 6? The answer is no, you cannot. The reason you can't, easy answer, one's in and one's out. If they're not the same, you can't reduce them. So one's in, one's out, there's nothing you can do. That's your answer. Okay, question B. Multiply top and bottom by 4 square root of 5, and then I want you to stop. Just write it down and then stop. That's not wrong, but it's also not necessary. You're doing more than what you need to, which is making the problem tougher. Can anybody tell me what's not necessary? Thank you. Yeah, the 4 is fine. Who cares that you have a 4 on the bottom? It's the square root of 5 that's the problem. So just multiply top and bottom by the square root of 5. If you did include the 4, you'd still get it right. Your numbers would just be like really big and you'd have to reduce them. Okay, so on the top I have 3 times the square root of 5 times 3 is 15. On the bottom I have 4. You guys, what's the square root of 5 times the square root of 5? That's 5. Is it 4 plus 5 now? It's times 5. So that gives me 3 square root of 15 over 20. Okay, now let's stop before we don't know if we're done. Can I reduce the 20 and the 15? Why not? One's in, one's out, so I cannot do that. Okay, and we're done. Okay, let me go off on a tangent for 2 seconds right here. Okay, everybody just kind of sit for 2 seconds. If you had 3 multiplied by the square root of 15 over 21, just kind of look and listen. Can I reduce the 15 and the 21? No. Can I reduce the 3 and the 21? I can. This is a monomial, one term over one term. Does 3 go into both of those? Yes. So you'd go 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 21 7 times, so the answer would be the square root of 15 over 7. Okay, there's one more thing I want to say. What about this? 3 plus the square root of 15 over 21. So my question is, and you're answering before I even ask it, which I love that because you're anticipating what I'm going to ask you, can I cancel the 3 and the 21? No. Have we talked about being rude yet? Have I talked about being rude? Okay, I'm going to tell you. So, yeah, don't be rude. So I don't know if you guys have ever had a group of friends and there's 3 of you that are the best friends. Sometimes that can be like, you have to be careful, right? That nobody feels excluded. So look right here. Here's a person, and here's a person. So if this person right here called this person on the phone and asked that person if they could go to the movies, that is rude to that person right there. So don't be rude because those 2 people just excluded that person. And that's rude. So if you're going to go to the movies, you have to invite all the friends, okay? Otherwise, you're going to be rude. Okay, question C. I could do this, okay? Don't write this down. But I could do that. Would be fine. I would not do that. I think there's an easier thing you could do. Does anybody have any advice, any thoughts, or does anyone see anything?
Because you multiply.
Say it again.
Because you multiply the top two terms. So if you -4 square root of 12.
You would, except those are being added. And remember, you can only add them. That's okay. You can only add them if they're the same. Okay, so we can't do that. Yeah.
You can break down the square root of 12.
Yeah, so let's get that guy as small as we can get him, and then let's do it. Yeah, you don't have to do it, but I would totally do it. So 12 is 2 times 6, and 6 is 2 times 3. These two 2's come out as a single. So it's -4 square root of 6 plus the square root of 2 over. These two 2's come out as a single 2. So it's 14 square root of 3. Okay, so now I'm going to multiply top and bottom by, everybody tell me, square root of 3, right? Same at the top, same with the bottom. Put parentheses around the top and distribute. -4 square root of 6 times the square root of 3 is -4 square root of 18. And then positive times a positive is a positive. 3 times 2 is 6. And then on the bottom, you have a 14. Everybody, what's the square root of 3 times the square root of 3? 3. Okay, now there's still two more things I need to do. First of all, on the top, I can break that 18 down. So 18 is 2 times 9, and 9 is 3 times 3. So those two 3's come out as a single. So I have -12 square root of 2 plus the square root of 6 all over 14 times 3 is 42, I believe. Can I reduce anything? I cannot. I cannot reduce the 12 and the 42 because it would be
Rude.
to whom? To the 6. Yeah, so don't be rude. You cannot reduce that thing. Okay? How about this? Can I reduce the 2's? Nope. Now you know why, right? Why? It's rude. To whom? To the X. Good.
Teacher, sorry for
Okay.
interruption. Any students that still need to do picture retakes today, please report to the auditorium. Thank you.
Okay, question D. What would you do? What would you do? Can I reduce the 3 and the 12? No. Could I? Could I do this? Probably a bad question. I'll just go with it because I started. Could I do that? I could. Actually, it wasn't a bad question. I could. Should I? It's way tougher than I need to do. What should I do? Break down the 12. Okay, so 12 is 2 times 6. 6 is 2 times 3. These two 2's come out. So I have 3z to the second over 2. Then leave some room, and I have a square root of 3. And now look at your z's. 2 goes into 3 one time. I have one guy left over, and I also have a b. Would you now, at this moment, multiply top and bottom by the square root of 3zb? Would you do that? I would do something else. Does anybody see anything else you can do? Make it as simplified as you can. Your z's. Yeah, let's cancel those z's. So 2 z's on top and 1 on bottom. That leaves me 1 z on the bottom. So it looks like that. Okay? So I have 2 z's over 1 z. More on the top. How many more? One more. Last lesson.
Is that supposed
Okay.
to be?
Yeah. It's a good z. Oh, I thought you were critiquing my writing.
No,
No,
the 3
three.
is a 2.
Oh,
That was a
yeah.
good Z, though.
I knew that. It was a good Z, wasn't it? You guys are so fun. Okay, so the 2 on the bottom is fine. It's the bottom square root that's fine. That's the problem. So multiply top and bottom by the square root of 3zb. So now on the top, I have 3z times the square root of 3zb over 2. Everybody tell me, square root of 3zb times the square root of 3zb is 3zb, right? And now I could make it a 6 and then reduce. How many best friends, listen to this, how many best friends are in this picture, in this group of friends? There are 2. One on the top and one on the bottom. So can I cancel those 3s? Sure. I could make it a 6 and then reduce, but it would do the same thing as if I just reduced right now. How about the Z's? Outside, outside. Can I do those? You bet. ZZ, those are gone.
Check out.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
On the top, I have 3ZB. On the bottom, I have 2B. That's my answer, and I'm done. Okay, question E. Okay, F is going to just rock your world. I'm just telling you. I don't have F highlighted, do I? No. Okay, good. Because you're going to be like, what? Okay, look at E. Lots of things you could do. Lots of places to start. What's the best thing to do? What's the best thing to do? Square root, what do you mean? Simplify the denominator, right? So on top you have a 3x, see bud? On the bottom you have a 6. 2 goes into 3 one time, and I still have an x left inside. Okay? Now, if you want it to be like a little, I was going to say lazy, but I don't like the word lazy. Instead of rewriting it right there, I would just go, those cancel, 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 6 2 times. So I'm going to rewrite it just so I don't confuse you. So it's 1 over 2 square root of 6. I just simplified. Multiply top and bottom by the square root of x. 1 times the square root of x is the square root of x. On the bottom, on the outside, I have a 2. Square root of x times the square root of x is x. Can I cancel my x's? Why not? One's in, one's out. Yep. That's it. And we're done. Okay. Question F. Let's all write this down, okay? The 4th root of 5x over the 4th root of z. Okay, now I don't want you to write anything else. Multiply top and bottom by the 4th root of z. Don't write that down. And on the top, you have the 4th root of 5xz, and on the bottom, you have a z. Nobody say anything. Just look at it. That's wrong. And it would probably be minus every single point on this problem, which would probably be a 5-point problem. You would lose every single point. Okay? Turn to your group, and for no more than 1 minute, figure out why. What did I do wrong? Look at what I did and tell me what is wrong. Okay? Go ahead. Talk about it. You should be talking to your person.
You can't get 5 out. You can't get an X out. You can't get 2, so it has to be 1. But there's no. Yeah. Maybe it's a 1 out. Maybe it's 23,000. I don't know.
Ready? Last period, someone said the correct answer. Yeah. Yes, they set a high standard for you. Why am I wrong? Someone tell me. You guys are smart. What's wrong? Okay, everybody in this room lost 5 points out of 5 points on this question. You all failed this question. Okay? Oh yes, who's going to save you? Who's going to save you all? It's a group test. Okay.
So because the 5x over z is all under 1 4th root, couldn't you just put in parentheses and put to the 4th power, and then give the answer just simplify to 5x over z?
No, and you know why? A lot of people do that. They'll do this. Like if you have the square root of x over the square root of 2, they'll square both and they get x over 4. and that's false. When's the only time, guys, you can square a square root? When you're solving, and we are not solving, we are simplifying. So no, you cannot. Okay, she's gonna save you. You guys ready? Okay, what's wrong?
On the previous equations, when we were doing that at the bottom where you multiplied the two of them, you're having an extra one, so it should be z squared instead, or like you should have two z's instead of just one.
Okay, so how do you want me to change it?
I don't know if it's right.
You're getting there. You're getting there. So keep going.
When you had just like the square root, when you multiply the square by the square root,
Okay.
that's where you got the one.
Okay.
But there's 4.
Okay, so how do you want me to change it? Okay, now somebody else piggyback off of what she said. Do you see what she's saying? She said this was a square root, and you did it twice. But now we have a fourth root. Then you have to do it, you have to have 4 of them. But I don't want to go 4 through z, 4 through z, 4 through z, 4 through z. So I'm going to make this the fourth root of that, not z to the 4. You're so close, honey, because if I did 4, then I'd have the fourth root of z to the 5th, which is too many. So it's not 4, it's what? It's to the 3rd, yes. Because then, okay, look right here, because this did come up. I think 1 year ago or 2 years ago, this did pop up on the midterm of the final, so I want you to watch. So the top is easy, fourth root, 5, and then an x and a z. Look at the denominator. This is the problem. Sorry, I didn't mean to erase. This is the problem right here. The fourth root of z times the fourth root of z is not z. It's the fourth root of z squared. And I don't have 4 of them to pull out. So how many am I missing? I'm missing 2 more. So this needs to be a third. So this would be a fourth. So that would be a first. Who says I understand that? Let's see. Yeah, that's what I thought. Do a big raise. Do a big raise if you understand, because this doesn't make me convinced. Okay, at least half of us, so that's good. I'll do it again. Don't worry. Okay? You know what? Since we're so good on time, squeeze over here for 2 seconds. And just add another example. Let's make sure we finish that, by the way. Let's come back over here. And yes, that's your answer right there. Okay? Z to the, oh, this should be a Z to the 3rd. Make that a 3rd. Guys, look at that last problem. And there's your answer. The fourth root of 5x z to the 3rd over z. Okay, now you guys walk me through this. Nice and calm. Okay, here we go. The cube root of 2x over the cube root of y. I'm going to make this one pretty basic so everyone can feel good, right? If I multiply the top and the bottom by the cube root of y, that does not make the bottom a y. It makes the bottom the cube root of, tell me everybody, y squared. I don't need 2 in there, I need 3. So if I only have 1 right here, how many do I need here? I need 2 there, so that guy's a 2. Now I have the cube root of y to the 3rd, which does give me a y on the bottom. Who says I get that now? Yay, you guys are awesome. So on the top, it's a cube root of 2x y to the 2nd, and that's my answer. Okay? If it's still not clicking, you got to just keep fighting. It will click, okay? I think it will probably pop up on your homework, okay? I think you're going to probably have to do that on your homework. At least I hope you do. Okay. This, for anybody that still feels like a little fuzzy, this question might do it. Is the cube root of x times the cube root of x equal to x? Tell me. No. It is not, because that's the cube root of x squared. And the cube root of x squared is not an x. So why? So first of all, are they equal to each other? The answer is no. And I'm going to say I don't have 3 x's inside of my cube root. If I had 3 of them, then it would be an x. I don't have enough. I can't even simplify that because I don't have 3 of them to come out. Okay? Okay. Let's talk about conjugates. 5 plus the square root of 3. The conjugate is 5 minus the square root of 3. Remember that? We just talked about it. Okay? Everybody watch me do 5a. You don't do anything. Okay? Watch right here. Multiply top and bottom by the square root of 2 to get rid of the square root. Right? So on the top, 5 times 2 is 10. On the bottom, I distribute. So 1 times the square root of 2 is the square root of 2. The square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is 2. Did that do me any good? I have a different equation, but I still have a square root on the bottom. So it didn't do me any good. So this is not what I multiply by. What do I multiply by? The conjugate. Yeah. So it's going to be 1 minus the square root of 2. Now I need you to put parentheses around all those binomials. See those binomials? They all need parentheses. On the top, I distribute. Square root of 5 times 1 is the square root of 5. Minus the square root of 5 times the square root of 2 is the square root of 10. On the bottom, F and L. Why not a full-blown FOIL? Conjugates. Perfect. Quick, concise, everybody gets it. Yep. 1 times 1 is 1. Positive times a negative is a negative. Square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is 2. The square root of 5 minus the square root of 10 over negative 1. If you write your answer like that, it is awkward but acceptable. I'll take it. If you do this, watch me do this. Take the negative, pull it up, negative square root of 5 minus the square root of 10, that's wrong. Pulled the negative up, stuck it in front of the 5. Why is it wrong? Because the negative affects both of those things. So yes, that should be a plus, and that is acceptable as well. Okay? Okay, next one. Binomial. 2 terms. Throw parentheses around the binomial, multiply by the conjugate, which is 5 minus the square root of 2. On the top, you distribute. So I'm going 4 square root of 3 times 5. So on the outside, 4 times 5 is 20. On the inside is a 3. Now I'm going 4 square root of 3 times a negative square root of 2. Outside, 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. Inside, 2 times 3 is 6. On the bottom, F and L. 5 times 5 is 25. Positive times a negative is a negative. Square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is 2. So I have 20 square root of 3 minus 4 square root of 6 all over 23. That's my answer. Nothing reduces. Done. Who says I'm good? Let me see. Good, because this is an important lesson. Okay, question C. Binomial. 2 terms. Parentheses around everything. And then the multiply top and bottom by 1 minus the square root of 2. Tell me with one word what we're going to do to the top.
Or FOIL.
FOIL. Binomial times binomial is FOIL. What am I going to do on the top? On the bottom. F and L. Just F and L. You don't have to FOIL. So 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times a negative square root of 2 is negative 4 square root of 2. Inside, negative square root of 3 times 1 is a negative square root of 3. Last, negative square root of 3 times a negative square root of 2. Negative times a negative is a positive. Square root of 3 times the square root of 2 is the square root of 6. On the bottom, 1 times 1 is 1. Positive square root of 2 times a negative square root of 2, that's a negative. Square root of 2 times square root of 2 is 2. So I have 4 minus 4 square root of 2 minus the square root of 3 plus the square root of 6 all over negative 1. Acceptable, full points, awkward. Right? Pull it up, change all the signs. Negative 4 plus 4 square root of 2 plus the square root of 3 minus the square root of 6. That's the best answer you could give. But they're both full credit. Okay, we're almost done. 2 quick things and then we're done. I don't think I even finished last period. I didn't. Is the square root of a times the square root of b always the square root of a times b? I'm going to tell you right now, the answer is no.
I'd like to say no.
How about question C? Can it ever be a negative real number? The answer is, what's this answer? Can it ever be a negative? The square root of 36, the square root of 100, the square root of 49, the square root of 63, the square root of whatever. Can it ever be a negative? No. Okay. Can it ever be a negative real number? No. Why or why not? The easiest explanation, I think, is there is not a negative in front of the square root of c. If there's no negative sitting in front of it, it's not going to become a negative because the square root is always going to end up being positive if there's no negative sitting in front. Okay? Go back up to the last one. So the reason it's no, does anyone have any idea? It's a little stretch from what we've been doing. I'm going to show you. The square root, we're going to go into imaginaries. Square root of a negative 36. And let's do smaller. Square root of negative 3 times the square root of negative 3 is equal to negative 3. Is that true? No, I want to change those. Sorry. You guys are like driving me crazy, lady. Okay, let me think about this. I want to give a good one. Okay, get rid of the 3s. There we go. Square root of a negative 1 times the square root of a negative 25, is that equal to the square root of 25? Okay, here's why. Square root of a negative 1 is an I. Square root of a negative 25 is a 5i. That's 5i squared. What's I squared equal to? Negative 1, right? So that is a negative 5. Square root of 25 is 5. Are those things the same? No. So I'm going to say if A or B is negative, and I think it would actually be more appropriate to write and or B. Either one of them is a negative, comma, it is false. If one or both of those is a negative. Don't pack up yet. There's another thing you have to do. Sorry. 1 plus the square root of 3 times 1 minus the square root of 3. I don't even care if you write this down. Here's A, here's B. For 30 seconds, talk to your person and figure out what the difference is. Those matter. They're different. Talk to each other. Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. Okay. Everybody in the room, tell me, the top one, tell me one word that tells me how you're going to do that. You're distributing. What's the bottom one? Foil. You guys are rock stars. See ya, man. You're awesome. See ya. Uh-huh. Yeah. Right there. Bye, guys. Have a great day. Thank you. Thank you. See you later, honey. Thank you. You guys did great today. Have a wonderful weekend. See ya.
Dominic Martinez,
Thank you.
please come to the office. Dominic
See you, bud.
Martinez, please come to the office.
You good, sweetie?
What if
Okay.
you want me to put the homework?
There's a pub right over there, honey.
Thank you.
You betcha, bud. Thank you.